Ladies and gentlemen, the time is 1 and it's time for One Piece. Let's go ahead and get started already, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, peoples, Qushu 92 here, and welcome back to more One Piece. In the last chapter, we saw the events leading up to the God Valley incident, such as Garling killing his wife in order to take away Shamrock and Shanks. The Rock's pirates saying, oh, we're gonna go and get Shocky back, who we come to learn was actually sold off and traded to the world nobles to the Celestial Dragons by Wang Ji. And that's how Shocky wound up in their care, because she is the most sought after prize in the whole national hunting competition, among many other devil fruits, of course. Now, amongst all of this going on, we also find out the little bit of history of Rocks, and finding out that he's a member of the Davy clan, which is actually a very old lineage that traces back to the very person called Davy Jones in the series. So Rox's name is not just Rox D. Zebic, it's Davy D. Zebic. We don't find out what the D actually means still, but we learn his name and lineage is about as sought after as the Buccaneer lineage of Kuma. We find that out. We also find out that Teach and his mom are currently being held there on God Valley because Teach actually has a worth higher than Kuma because of his lineage. And that's all happening because in the last chapter 1159, we have them saying, lastly, every world noble is aware of them. In addition to the Buccaneer boy serving as a super rare rabbit in this contest, we have another target who's been found at long last after 800 years, the Davy clan. And Teach is literally the big target here. We thought that Kuma was going to be like a major target, but no, it was Teach. So let's see what happens in chapter 1160. Can y'all believe that we are My brain just locked up because I just saw the title. And in my head, I knew this was going to be the title. But can y'all believe that we are 40 chapters away from 1,200 chapters of One Piece? I need to stand up to say this, because we've been looking forward to this chapter ever since it was first talked about. Ladies and gentlemen, chapter 1160, the God Valley Incident! We get to find out! We get to find out! Chapter 1160, the God Valley Incident. Ogre Child, Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 42, the Shrine to Odin and his companions overlooking the Flower Capital. And we have Yamato up here, right next to Odin's Shrine, we see over the vastness of the Flower Capital. We see the Kozuki Castle in the background. We see all the big buildings and everything. It's just a very beautiful look. It's just a very beautiful view for Wano. So glad Yamato's making this trip. Chapter 1160, the God Valley Incident. And we get the world nobles again. Feast your eyes upon the Davy clan. Boo! The most hated of people!
You can go back generations and you'll never find a single person who loved your kind.
Shun them! Isolate them!
You're just more buccaneers, aren't you?
Their lives pose a danger to us all.
Not so fast, folks. Don't throw anything yet. If we can wipe them out once and for all, this is a blessed day.
And we see these celestial dragons throwing rocks and axes and swords and daggers. At everyone being held hostage and hunted on the platform. And then we have... Then we have Saturn saying,
You did well to find them, Garling.
It was simply an act of fate. That is why Garling says, I found something that would please it. This will please the Great One. It wasn't anything like some hidden power. It wasn't like, oh, this is where an ancient weapon is. No, he found out that Rox's family, lineage of the Davy clan, was there on God Valley. And that's why they held it there. So they could hunt down the last remaining members of the Davy clan. That's why the God Valley incident not only happened because of Ginny, but because of the particular place where Rox left his son and wife. That's why it happened to be that location. Because of Teach. Okay.
You did well to find them, Garling.
It was simply an act of fate. Now, let's introduce the favorites to win the individual competition. And then we cut back to a building where Dragon found them. Oh, wait, hold on. We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
If we can wipe them all out, once and for all, this is a blessed day.
And it shows them throwing things. Including one person that looks like a very massive giant person. Hey, no knives, my friends. If they die, that's a penalty on you. And we see Teach being held onto by a lady that might be his mother. And Teach is looking out at these celestial dragons. And he's 2 here. He's 2 years old. Looking out at these celestial dragons, and he's absolutely terrified of them. Because we see the celestial dragons, in his eyes, they're just shadowy figures with sharp teeth and sharp claws. They look like monsters to him, and they're just saying, segregate them! Segregate them! And then, of course, we have Saturn saying,
you did well to find them, Garling.
It was simply an act of fate. Now, let's introduce the favorites to win the individual competition. And we cut back to Dragon. We're back here. Cut back to Dragon as he's there with Shanks and Shamrock's mother, who somehow managed to seclude herself in a building. As she says,
I'll be dead soon. Please, take my boys to someone kind-hearted. To raise them into men. Just don't let him have them.
And then Shanks and Shamrock's mother dies after this. Because her hand just falls to the ground, lifeless. And then Dragon runs off. I don't know who you are, but I want to save your kids. If I don't do something, I'm going to collapse under the weight of it all. And then we continue the competition. We've already introduced the 13 super rare rabbits. They're worth 10,000 points each. Woo! In addition, there are 150 rare rabbits. The hunt will begin in 1 hour. All you rabbits better start running.
Is he serious?
Are they really going to start killing us? Ah! And people are screaming for their lives as they're running.
We have to survive for 3 weeks and we're free. Just run for it. It's our only hope. There has to be a good place to hide.
Let the hunt begin.
Little rabbits, where are you?
And these celestial dragons are just hunting them all down.
Hush, hush, baby, don't cry.
Agua.
Found myself some rabbits.
No, just let our baby live. Please, I beg of you.
And mind you, there's a husband, a wife, and their son. Now, as soon as this lady is begging for their lives, we just get 3 gunshots. Mind you, there are 3 individuals. The father, the mother, and the child. There are 3 gunshots. I hate them. I hate these celestial dragons. I cannot stand them. I hate them. This chapter is going to make me hate them even more. I just know it. As we hear one final cry of life and 3 separate gunshots, and we get a Den Den Mushi just watching all of this go down. Please, spare my life!
Don't kill my husband!
Ooh. The land of the gods, sacred Marijois.
Woo! Yes, get 'em! The Figureland family is in the lead, but the Bavette and the
Manamare? Is that Manamare? Or is that Manmare?
But the Bavette and Manmare families are in close pursuit.
And it shows Garling just slicing people all the way down.
Ah, Lord Garling!
Who did you bet on? The shepherds in the family competition. Gung-ho for the individual race.
You sure? She's great, but she's still just the knighthood's pet devoted blade of God. I'm sorry. Her name is also what? Devoted blade of God?
You sure? She's great, but she's still just the knighthood's pet devoted blade of God.
And it shows that even back then, Gung-ho had her arrow fruit power. And she's skewering people and killing them with her arrows.
Ooh, chalk up another excellent bonus for the Manmare family.
Devoted blade of God, Manmare family, Saint Gung-ho.
I'm so jealous of St. Garling. He's gonna bag this beauty to be his wife.
And it shows that Shaki is still being detained. Look, nothing's official yet. And then they're just kind of gawking at her. And then it cuts to a building where there's a child up in the tree. And Sommers is there, going after the child.
Oh, you got yourself real high up there. Don't worry, you can jump down. I've got a nice cushion of thorns waiting.
No! Stop!
And Sommers has his devil fruit power as well, and he's creating a bed of thorns at the bottom of this tree. Please don't! That's my son!
Daddy!
Don't worry, I'll get you! And I think the kid lands on the spikes. Either the dad lands on the spikes or the kid lands on the spikes. Because we get a
Ah! Ah, such a touching display.
And then we get back to Dragon. And he's seeing all of these people dead. All of these people dead. If I defied the celestial dragons and try to save someone, my entire platoon will be beheaded. And he's doing everything he can to keep himself from throwing up. And then we get a vice admiral going, "Is everyone here then?" "Of course, sir." "Stupid dragon, where is he gone? He'd better not be on that island." And then we see another celestial dragon who has found the group that Ivankov was with when Ivankov was first made his presence known to Kuma. Remember the flashback? There's a celestial dragon who's zoning in on them.
Oh, I found him, the 10,000-point buccaneer.
And then we get Ivankov.
Don't waste your time dreaming of salvation from this sick game. We have to escape the game itself. Let's get off of God Valley together.
And then we have Dragon going, "They've still got hope."
Yo, 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 yo. Get a taste of my killer 10-shot rifle.
And the celestial dragon is aiming at Kuma, but there's a gunshot, and it's because Dragon knocked out the celestial dragon. Oh, darn. I've really done it now. And then it shows another celestial dragon running through the forest, just gunning more people down with a sick, twisted smile on his face.
Huh? To the east of the island.
What is that? It's the Rocks Pirates! And not just them, there are all kinds of pirate crews pulling up. Yarr! One of them actually says yar. And then we get a double spread panel of the Rocks Pirates rolling up.
All right, folks, Shocky, treasure, devil fruits. There's no point to us killing each other over them. I propose a temporary team-up. Bring back the treasure and we'll split it even. No complaints about that, I trust.
The Rocks Pirates. We have Barbell, Whitebeard, Stussy, Struzen, Big Mom, Kaido, Shiki, Captain John, Gloriosa, and Silverax. Then we get Barbell going, but we can't split Shocky. Then we get Shiki going, she's gonna fall in love with whoever says that first, obviously. And then we get Silverax going, Kyo, Hitman Kyo going,
yeah, you're not gonna beat me to her.
Then Captain John, Shocky's gonna fall in love with whoever gets the most treasure. Then Whitebeard,
you have fun with that. I'm just concerned about my friend. And if she falls in love with me, well, I'm not complaining.
And then we get Stussy, who's like,
huh? What are you talking about, Newgate?
And then we get Gloriosa going,
but if I save Shocky, then maybe Roger will be grateful to me and...
And then we get Struzen going, Wang Ji stayed behind on the island, and Wang Ji stayed behind on the island. We'll ban him from a bar. Then Big Mom,
you're all fools. The entire world could turn upside down, and Shocky'd never pay attention to you.
And then Kaido,
are you really gonna give me a devil fruit, Lin Lin?
Fire! And they start firing on the Rocks pirate ship.
Ignore him! Charge through! Look out! You're wasting your time, Navy! Follow my leads, Rocks pirates!
And Rocks' ship, which is also massive in its own right, crashes through the Navy blockade. And so many Navy soldiers get thrown off. Then we get the Celestial Dragons complaining, oh no! Pirates have arrived! What are you doing, Navy?
If a single hair on our heads is must, you'll all be hanged from the neck!
Urgent report! Attention needed on the western coast. It's the Roger Pirates! And it shows Dragon already has Shamrocks and Shanks in his arms.
It's the Roger Pirates!
Are you boys staying quiet? It's a miracle. Move all the Celestial Dragons to the center of the island. They mustn't be harmed under any circumstance. What's happening? It's like the end of the world. First Rocks, now Roger. The Roger Pirates have landed. So much insanity right now.
I'm gonna go rescue Shocky. None of the rest of you have a shot, so focus on the treasure.
And this is Roger with Rayleigh, Gavin, and the rest of the Roger Pirates.
Take Shocky back!
And it shows some people. Oh, wait a minute. What the? Is that Roger? Did he get run over by his own men? Did he got... Is that Roger? That's Roger. He got run over by his own men.
I'm gonna go rescue Shocky. None of the rest of you have a shot, so focus on the treasure. Take Shocky back! Ow, okay, sorry.
His own man ignored him and just ran over him. And then we have Garling. Darn it, can't focus on the game.
What's going on here? Just do something!
Oh, snap! And we get more members of the God Knights. Pull the Navy back and protect the Celestial Dragons. The Holy Knights of God are stepping in. And it shows Garling. It shows Somers. It shows someone else with horns on their head. And they're very tall, and she's smoking. And she has two-tone hair, but she's very tall. We have someone that appears to be either a fish man in the back. And he's massive, sharp teeth, big old beard, horns on his head. We got the woman that's directly next to Garling. And we got the dude with the skull helmet on that's covering his face. And we have that one chick with the big old hat on her head and the big old hat on her head covering her eyes. Holy Knights of God.
Pirates are landing on every shore! Fight back, battleships! Don't let them disembark! It might be too late for that. The pirates are all charging onto the island! We don't know what they're after!
And it shows Whitebeard and Shiki and the Rocks Pirates just straight up chopping Navy soldiers down.
Hold on! Don't chop up my men like a plate of veggies!
And Garp. It's Garp! It's Garp! He shows up, throws a cannonball, and it sends some members of the Roger Pirates flying in different directions. Not only Roger Pirates, but also the Rocks Pirates as well. And Rocks and Roger both see it. And they go like, huh?
Oh, that ship! It's Vice Admiral Garp! Here I am, baby! Reinforcements have arrived! It's Vice Admiral Garp!
Garp's fleet. Yes! We're saved! And it just shows Garp smiling. That's the last panel. And of course, we gotta, what is his name? Don't say it. Garp. What is his name? Whoa, no, what is his name? Bogon! We got Bogon next to him as well. I was having the hardest time trying to get his name down. But Bogon is it, Bogard! Not Bogon, but Bogard. Bogard in the background. And Garp is just smiling like, and that's the end of chapter 1160. So let me just look at chat for a quick second. Ladies and gentlemen, the God Valley incident has begun. We are about to witness the God Valley incident, and I knew for a fact that it wasn't going to be condensed into just a single chapter. So we also see the Man Mayor woman with the gun too. So the Man Mayor family has two members apart from the Holy Knights. Interesting. Yeah. We got that one chick that was speaking earlier. And we also have Gunko, who is known as the devoted blade of God. Is she like the right hand of Emu? What do you mean, the devoted blade of God? Okay, so let me see what you guys have said, because I see so many people. Good to see you. Yo, Don Qushu. Don Qushu is because of is it because of the fit? Is it because of the fit? Yes. You come to me on the day of this wonderful One Piece chapter. And one day I will call upon you for a service. And God forbid that day should come. But let me stop. But it's good to see you, CDs. It's good to see you, Ozzy. It's good to see you, Cohagen. It's good to see you, subject number 35. It's good to see you all. Even 308 Saw. It's good to see you. Everyone who showed up here today. Let me see what you guys have said, because we're going to go back through this. Let's see. Qushu, the Dapper Dawn Captain. You see that, Ozzy? Qushu Sharp. We have a break. Yeah, it looks like we have a break because it doesn't say that we got another chapter coming out. In fact, it doesn't even say anything at all for us to get another chapter next week. So there's definitely going to be enough for us to discuss. But I also get a break from One Piece next week. It remains to be seen if Sakamoto Days is on break as well. If it is, hey, that works out just fine. But yeah, we're on break. He needs that Capone hat cocked to the side. I don't have a fedora anymore. I think I got rid of it. Let's see. Did he skip a piece of the panel? Let me go back real quick. No, I didn't skip anything. I was listening to YouTube while working earlier, and YouTube just skipped to your old reaction to chapter 957. First time Rocks mentioned in Emperor's, you screamed like crazy. Yeah. That was way back when. 957 Ultimate. That's what that chapter was called. Let's see. Robin's mom is Teach's mom. Wow. Let's see. Just kidding. We never get to see her face. Shanks and Shamrock's mother, that is. 3 weeks. Let's see. Heartless. This reminds me of some history some of us know. We're not going to go down that road today. For me personally, I like the fact that we don't know what Shanks and Shamrock's mother looks like, the same way we don't know what Luffy's mother looks like. The mysterious mother. It is what we call One Piece mother syndrome. We don't know what half of these mothers of these people look like in One Piece. Only unless the childhood is absolutely important to find out who that person is. With how they act, you'd never think there were any good celestial dragons, like ever. Was Don Quixote's parents a celestial dragon? Yes. The Don Quixote family were kind of known as like black sheeps because we have Don Quixote homing, which was the same Don Quixote that left the Holy Land in order to live like a human, in order to live like a normal person. Did not pan out well because of his naivete and his obliviousness to the plight and just general opinion of celestial dragons in the world down below Marie Joie. So it's because of his own ignorance and naivete that led to his wife dying, that led to his entire family being hunted down by normal civilians, and also led to his demise because of the indoctrination that Don Quixote do Flamingo was so used to. Like,
Father, where are all the slaves? Why do I have to wear these disgusting clothes? You peasants should all bow before me. I'm a god!
And it's because of that indoctrination that led to, well, essentially his death. Then you have Don Quixote Miasgard, who was a celestial dragon that came to Fishman Island with little to no preparation whatsoever, crash landed on Fishman Island, and demanded to have all the people who were freed by Fisher Tiger to be brought back to him. Didn't pan out well, but somehow or the other, he was able to become a normal human being, at least in terms of disposition-wise, thanks to Queen Otohime. Now, however, because of that, it caught up with him, because when we had the most recent reverie, after Charlos got bodied by Sai and Leo, and Miasgard helped them escape, he was summarily executed by Garling because he helped out a fishman, a lower being, scum, apparently. And he was held up. That was the first celestial dragon that we witnessed being killed, actually. So there were, as far as we know, there were good celestial dragons. But it seems to me that every person, aside from Doflamingo, every person in the Don Quixote family, aside from Doflamingo, had dispositions to be genuinely good people. I mean, even Rocinante decided to be with the Navy and try to keep kids from ever joining Doflamingo at all. The only person who was a lost cause was literally Doflamingo himself. So, yeah, there were good celestial dragons. All the rest of them stink. There's not a single good celestial dragon out there right now. Let's see. He has a good heart, but very naive and did something so stupid. Was they the only good celestial dragons? Yes. I know this is far back on the chat, but I'm addressing it myself. All the good ones are pretty much dead now. Summer's just kicking that kid for 3 weeks straight. Was it 3 weeks straight, or did he just happen to find this kid here and decided, you know what, I'm going to kick this kid out of a tree, and then make the kid fall on a bed of thorns that I created? That's how twisted and messed up these celestial dragons are. No, there was Miasgard too, but he's likely dead now too, though. It's not likely. It is not likely. He was personally executed by Garling. Hold on, I got a phone call coming in. All right, I'm back. Let's see. There was Miasgard, but he's likely dead. No, he's just, yeah, he's dead. Let's see. Good to see you, DJ. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you when I scrolled back up. The redraw of the Rocks Pirates from Kuma's flashback, but Rocks is now shown in the middle. Exactly. Everything's coming full circle. Dragon didn't kill the Tenryubitu, he knocked him out with the tranquilizers. Yep, yeah, he knocked him out. You can see the Z. Are you saying that to are you saying that to me, Julian? Because I'm pretty sure I acknowledged that he knocked them out. I'm pretty sure I said he knocked him out with a tranquilizer. I'm pretty sure I said that. If I didn't, then I said it with the intent that he knocked him out. But I might have said he just shot him. So my apologies for the confusion. Really got his mind on a devil fruit. Also, this is the first time we see Rox's Jolly Roger, the flaming skull with crossbones. Before it was just the word rocks with the skull replacing the O. Essentially, yeah, they just trampled him. I know it's a speculation, but look above Roger's hat. People say it could be a Douglas bullets. Hold on. No, that's not Douglas bullet. Because his arms are too skinny. Douglas bullet has... That is not Douglas. Yeah, that's not Douglas bullet because dude is also holding a weapon. And we all know that Douglas bullet and Stampede didn't use no weapons. He was just straight hands. So that is not him. Let's see. I thought that was Roger. I thought that was Roger too. Is that Roger? Roger got trampled by his own men like Luffy gets trampled by the Straw Hats. Goofy Roger. They like, Roger, get out of the way. Yeah, we don't want any treasure. We want Shaki. Yeah, let's see. Yo, they look sick. They have a Yeti. In the Roger intro in this chapter, you can kind of see Gabin tripping Roger. Really? Are we sure he's tripping Roger? Because his axe is near his leg, but not in front of it. Because if we're looking at the panel on pages 14 and 15, we see the Roger pirates running in, but it's not like it's directly in front of Roger. Not only that, but it looks like Gabin is a little bit further back than Rayleigh, because Rayleigh looks like he's directly next to Roger, right behind him on his left side. And Gabin is next to him too, but it's not far enough for him to stick his actual axe out in front of him. So I don't think he's actually trying to trip Roger. I just think his crew just ran him over because they didn't want to give up on trying to rescue Shaki. Let's see. People think that fisherman looks-alike could be related, or that fisherman look-alike could be or related to Tom. I doubt it, because while Tom was big, his face wasn't that big. Also, this person has horns coming out of his head. Now, unless he's a fighting fishman, I don't see him being close to Tom, unless he's the same type of fishman that Tom was. Let's see. Some people still say Roger didn't have Aura in this flashback. Obviously, it is Rox's flashback, but we forgot that Roger is the Pirate King and he started the Great Pirate Era. My thing so let me address that. My thing is, Roger, this is literally when Roger and his people are starting to build up their notoriety. This is, I mean, he still got Aura, but I feel like at the same time, every single time Roger comes in, he doesn't need to steal the limelight of what has been a Rox-focused flashback. You know, Harold has been tossed in there, and to the point where it's just been tossed out completely. Last time we saw Harold was literally the last chapter, and that was it. But Roger, it's not necessary for Roger to have Aura in every single chapter, because that can distract or detract from the focus that has been Rox this whole time. So I wouldn't say it's actually necessary. So, I mean, he still got Aura, but that's not the focus here. So, because as soon as Roger does something stupendous, then the attention comes off of the main person we've been paying attention to, and it's starting to focus on Roger instead. But this isn't a Roger flashback. Even though Roger's in these flashbacks, this isn't a Roger-centric flashback. So he doesn't need to have Aura during this. He's fine. Roger's fine. I don't see what people are expecting. Oh, he's a future Pirate King, so he needs to be on a 10. He needs to be the ultimate Chad every single time we see him. This same ultimate Chad just got trampled by his own men in this chapter. You still think he has aura? You want him to have aura while he's getting trampled by his own men? Kind of takes away from it, don't it? But that's just me. Now we're just missing the star of the show. Never mind, Garp has arrived. Oh yeah, that guy being a fishman is another good possible shout, though it's probably a devil fruit of sorts, possibly. The two-tone hair god knight screaming, "I'm Dofi's aunt" to me. See, I'm getting that vibe as well. Because she's kind of, but she also has sharp teeth. So for all we know, she could be related to the Killingham family. Because didn't Killingham have sharp teeth too? For all we know, she could be related to the Killingham family. And we don't get like a full-bodied view of her either. She's got a Cruella de Vil type tone to her, doesn't she? The only difference is that she's got a cigar instead of like that long, extra long cigarette that Glenn Close had in the 90s film, which was the superior Cruella de Vil. I'm just going to say, Glenn Close is Cruella. I don't know what Emma Stone was doing in Cruella, but Glenn Close, bar none. Let's see. Also, interestingly, no Gunko or Killingham in that panel of the God Knights. Bogard. Oh, I gotta catch up. I gotta roll it back just a little bit. Wow, you guys have said a lot. Let me see. In the panel of the God Knights, let's see. Bogard, Nefertari, Don Quixote, Top Man, Ethan Barron, Marcus, Shepard, Jay Garcia, Norona, Figureland, Man Mayor, Limosiv, Remo Shifu. Is it the Remo Shifu family or is it the Killingham family? I think it's Remo Shifu. Yeah, sorry about that. We already know half of them. Yeah, we know half of the 20 families that essentially make up the Celestial Dragons. And there's still 8 more. There's still 8 more families that'll make up the first 20. We also see the men, mayor, woman with the gun. Okay, I read that. The highlight of this chapter is probably Dragon saving the twins, saving Kuma from Celestial Dragon. Dragon is probably one of the MVPs in God Valley. Seriously, saving Shanks. If it wasn't for Luffy's dad saving Shanks, we would not have One Piece as we have it today. While Luffy owes everything to Shanks, Shanks owes everything to Dragon. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Luffy owes his life to Shanks. Shanks owes his life to Dragon. And we still don't know Roswald's last name. No, we don't. Don Qushu, you look good. You good today? Thank you, DJ. I'm assuming they're all still alive too. So there's 7 plus Gunko and Killingham. Rest in peace, Don Marlin. May Green. Look, Don Marlin showed up, talked a little bit, and was the first of the Rocks pirates to die. We didn't even get too much detail about Don Marlin. We just saw him for a little bit. Dead. Actually, would you consider Garling a holy knight still? Given his standing as one of the elders, I don't see why he wouldn't still be considered the supreme commander of the Holy Knights. But then again, I'm only saying this as speculation. We don't know the full dynamics of the Holy Knights in and of itself. We just know the people in it. That's it. But we don't know the specifics of how the Holy Knights operate, the parameters of which they operate, the rules in which they need to follow, the chain of command, who's directly under Garling if Garling chooses not to be the Supreme Commander anymore and decides to be an elder. We don't know the dynamics of the Celestial Dragons. We only know of their activities, but we don't know the world that they live in. To the extent of us knowing all the details of their everyday lives. Not in fine details. We don't know that much. I would like to know, because there's so much about Marie Joie we know nothing about. We don't know what the average day of a Celestial Dragon actually is. We see the events from the perspective of other people, but not from their perspective where we see what they do throughout the day. We don't know how their life unfolds day in and day out, specifically. We know next to nothing about the Holy Knights save for the people who are in them. And the fact that they also happen to have devil fruits, but we don't know about their military might. We don't know how strong they are. We don't know every single Holy Knight. There's just so much about Marie-Joie and the people who live in them that I very much would like to know more about. Let's see. Devoted Blade of God seems to be the god knight who deserved to be controlled by Imu, and we know it's Gunko. But here's the thing. We don't know that, though. We just make the assumption simply because Imu took over Gunko's body in the present. So, putting those two and two together, while it sounds nice, we don't know. Now, if anything, I'm sticking with my idea that Gunko is the one who gets to visit Imu and be with Imu on a regular basis, simply because Gunko was present in the room with Imu when Rox showed up there that day. And she was all dressed up in, like, holy raiments and everything. If anything, I'd say that she is like the guiding hand. She is like essentially the blade of God, it's themselves. If someone needs to directly die and it needs a more personal touch, I believe Gunko is that individual. What else can you describe of Gunko called the devoted blade of God if she is not the person that Imu looks to go, I need you to kill this one person specifically? Literally the right hand of God. Or the blade of God. Not right hand, because that has a whole different meaning. But the blade of God. And what better use for a blade than to point it at what you want gone? So I'm just making these assumptions here. But I honestly feel it's not a matter of the only one who can be controlled by Imu, but perhaps the one closest to Imu. Because if so, that's 10. If not, that's 9. And that's maybe more we don't know of. It's funny, if you are a mother and you are in a flashback, you did. But seriously, though, we all love our mothers. No disrespect. Oda obviously loves his mother. Do you think Shamrock can be redeemed? Maybe not Garling, but Shamrock, though? Because he still becomes this evil guy and lives in Marie-Joie? If anything, that's actually a really good question. We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know anything about how Shamrock makes his way back to Marie-Joie. If anything, it's because he willingly goes back to his father, whereas Shanks tries to go back, but he doesn't want to deal with anything that has to do with the Celestial Dragons, and that's why he decided to live in the lower world with everybody else. But with Shamrock, he probably got caught up in that whole brainwashing indoctrination shenanigans like most Celestial Dragon children did, and probably stayed. But that's just my assumption. So that's another facet of the story that I want to find out. How Shamrock wound up back in Marie-Joie, how Shanks wound up with the Roger Pirates, and everything else. Wouldn't it be funny if instead of them doing exactly what they did at the end of Film Red, they Oda, not, and I say they as if it's somebody else, but it's Oda. But wouldn't it be funny if Oda adapts the ending of Film Red, where Shanks was found in the treasure chest of Roger, but Roger had his big old mustache back then, but instead it's still the same, but it's his regular mustache right now. I'm just saying, it's not going to be a one-to-one, but it can be adapted into the main story. And I know you guys kept using that as a reference, saying like, oh, that's how Shanks wound up with the Roger Pirates. And I'm like, how about we not use the film canon as a end-all, beat-all way for them to be there? However, given how Dragon is taking these children, what if it does end up that way, given the current circumstances? Let me see. I knew he was pointing at me. Yep, you knew I was pointing at you, Mr. I Can Read Lips. Bogard must be in his 60s by now. That man is aging well. This dude has looked the same since we first seen him. And even as Garp gets older and his hair goes from gray to white, Bogard still looks the exact same. No more liberty for you. I know he could have just turned his back with the camera. I could have, but that'd be rude because then I wouldn't be facing all of you. All I got at the end was either okay or yes and took off. Hey, Q, am I crazy or is there Douglas Bullet behind Roger? No, you're not crazy, but that's not Douglas. There is a World of Tanks streamer who streams with his back to the camera. I couldn't do that. He's camera shy? Oh, okay. Well, then I understand then. Also makes me sense Wang Ji stayed on Pirate Island given his involvement in this. Yeah, of course he stayed behind. Because they would have recognized Wang Ji as a, hey, thank you for giving us Shaki. And then all the Rock's pirates look back at him, and then they kill him. Personally feel like there's a chance for Charlos' sister who did know about the Void Century because maybe she will ask or inquire about it. See, that's the thing. Going back to Vegapunk's message. No, that ain't Roger. That's just some Marine. Is it? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because this person's saying, okay, sorry. As the rest of the crew says, take back Shaki. That's Roger that's getting trampled. Because the corner of his captain's coat that's on his shoulders, it matches the color of this. I honestly believe that this, for comedic effect, this is Roger getting run over by his own crew. That's Roger. That's not a Marine. Because the captain's coat is black, and all Marines wear white coats over them. So that is definitely Roger getting trampled. Let me see. Unfortunately, Douglas Bullet would have been just 7 years old. So yeah, did someone say that Douglas Bullet is not canon, right? Stampede was. Stampede was? Was it, though? Was it really, though? Unless Otis says so. Let's see. The guy you mistaken as Douglas is Rangram? Is that his name, Rangram? The person in the back? It would make no sense Roger was in the front and ran first. It would make perfect sense that his crew would run over him in retaliation of him saying, like, I'm gonna go rescue Shaki, given how everyone feels about Shaki. So no, it makes perfect sense. Because, you know, the Roger Pirates don't treat each other the same way the Rocks Pirates do, but they are not above, you know, messing with their own captain in order to, you know, make their presence known or make their stance known. Because everyone feels the same way about Shaki. We want to all rescue Shaki. So imagine you harbor the same feelings for an individual and you want to rescue them. But the person in charge of you says, like, I'm going to go rescue them. You go ahead and take care of the treasure. No, and given how beautiful and how enamored everyone has been with Shaki, you say no. And then, for comedic effects, you run over the person and stomp all over him saying, like, we're going to take back Shaki! As if you didn't hear what this person said. So it makes perfect sense that it was Roger who got run over. Given the fact all the crazy stuff that happens with Roger later on in his life, it does fit the comedic tone. It does fit the comedic tone that his crew is known for. Because remember the flashback of Odin traveling with the Roger Pirates and all the crazy stuff that they got into. So yeah, that is definitely Roger being run over by his own men. Let's see. The guy you mistaken as Douglas is Rangram. I really like that Oda has been taking his time slowly showing what happened in God Valley. It is really Final Saga. It's so good. Yeah, it is. You guys are still going. I'm really trying to catch up. Let's see. Also, do you think the Marine wondering where Dragon ran off to is the current fleet admiral? Is that Kong? Was that Kong? Or are you talking about Akainu? Because there's no way that that's Akainu. Does this mean Garp is trying to help the Celestial Dragon's slavery? No. He's just there to fight the Rocks Pirates and the Roger Pirates. It's not really, he doesn't really have it in mind to directly save the Celestial Dragons because he hates them. He's just doing his job. If Dragon didn't save Shanks, we would have two evil Shanks in the story of One Piece. Let's see. That's crazy. Plus, Shanks' dad killed his own mom. He killed his own mom. Does he know that? I don't know if Shanks knows that his own father, Garling, killed his mother. Wild irony. I'm surprised that Shanks didn't mention that. Then again, he probably didn't know that Luffy was Dragon's son. He probably the best of the Holy Knights. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. Does Shanks and Shamrock know his dad killed his mom? We don't know. It's never been brought up because Shanks don't be talking about his family like that. Even us finding out that Shanks was related to Shamrock came from Shamrock, and that's as far the family dynamic went. It's okay, not too many people care for him anyway. I want to see Garp and Dragon's interaction and conversation in this God Valley. We probably see later, but hopefully we see a little bit more Dragon moments. Maybe. It would be nice. It would be interesting. What if that... What if that something rock appears to Emu? What if Gunko and Emu was doing something ritual or something and got interrupted? I wouldn't read too much into Gunko being in the room with Emu there. I wouldn't really read into it. It was just a scene. Emu was just chilling. Unless there was something directly happened and there was like extra sound effects or maybe some special effects that were happening while Rox was in there, maybe. But I wouldn't see it that way. It's not that deep. Also, I want to see Dragon and Shanks' interaction. There's obviously some conversation later on when Shanks grew up. Did Dragon somehow tell the truth to Shanks? Don't know. Plus, Rogers isn't as long during the God Valley incident. Time to hydrate. I'll hydrate after. Wait, was that Shanks being in the treasure chest in the movie? I thought that was a panel Oda drew for the volume 4 billion that was sold alongside the first release of film Red in Japan. Yeah, it was in the movie during the credits. Typo, Roger's hair isn't as long during the God Valley incident. I remember Shanks fighting Uta in a treasure chest in the movie. Oh wait, that was in the movie too. Never mind, ignore the first question. Let's see. God Valley was first mentioned in chapter 957 almost 6 years ago. Feels like it was just recently introduced to the story. At the same time, it's finally here. Ain't it crazy? 6 years have passed since we read chapter 957. Those are long years. 6 years of our lives since we read that chapter. And so much has happened since then. The events of Wano, the events of Egghead, and now the events of Elbaf. And now we're in the middle of this flashback. So many years of our life. And now, 6 years later, we are finally witnessing the God Valley incident. If any of us knew that we had to wait 6 years after 957 in order to get to this point, y'all think we would have been patient? Oh, don't worry. You find out what happens in the God Valley incident in 6 years' time. So much time has passed since all of these big moments. I remember when I was first reacting to One Piece, it was back in Whole Cake Island. All the way back then. Many, many years ago. Almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. Since I've been reacting to One Piece. And to think that we have finally reached the moment where the God Valley incident is finally being shown. Almost 10 years of my life dedicated to covering One Piece. And in those 10 years, read through the entire series again. So many years, but they're years well spent. Because I met all of you. It's been an honor to cover One Piece for all of you. Let me see. Let's continue on. Far off topic, I feel that there's one Pokemon who will play a huge role in this flashback. Told you, Qushu, yesterday I want to mention to you because I thought about it at work a couple of days ago. Let's see. Definitely don't take Stampede as canon. Let me see. Told about it at work a few days ago. During the God Valley incident, Roger doesn't have a mustache like he did in Stampede. 2, Roger's hair isn't long. God Valley incident like in Stampede. And do you think Blackbeard connecting everything and wants to find the truth, so that's why he took Pudding to read the memories? We don't know why he has Pudding. More than likely for her ability to use her third eye, which even she hasn't awakened yet or learned to use quite yet. But we don't know the specifics. We don't have any grounds to base anything off of him taking Pudding. Because he hasn't told us jack. He hasn't explained jack. All we know is that he took Pudding. For what purpose, we don't know. Aside from potentially being able to use it to read the poneglyphs, which is something only members of the Kozuki clan and members of the 3 tribes are capable of doing. Pudding hasn't shown the ability to be able to do that yet, so that's more than likely the reason why he took her. But for what purpose, we don't know! Is that why he took Garp in for a prisoner? He kept guard. He's got Garp as a prisoner because he's an even bigger bargaining chip than Kobe was. Because Kobe was going to be used as a bargaining chip in order to finagle his way into making, Hachinosu a world government affiliated island. But with Kobe gone and escaping, he kept Garp instead, which is an even bigger bargaining chip than Kobe because Garp is the legendary hero, the hero of the Marines. A bigger name than Kobe. So that could possibly coerce the world government to, kowtowing to some demands way more than Kobe. Even more so given the fact that Garp is still affiliated with the Marines. Kobe is a member of SWORD. Essentially, if anything bad happens to Kobe, the world government and Marines are not required or obligated to help them because they are seen as the G.I. Joe units of the Marines. So, for Garp, in Garp's place, he's a bigger bargaining chip, a bigger trade for more power. So, it's not a matter of that's the reason why he kept Garp a prisoner. That the reason I explained is the reason why he's keeping Garp as prisoner. Because what bigger bargaining chip could you have than the person who is known as the greatest hero of the Marines themselves? Yo, Robbie! Yo, looking clean? Well, thank you. I like to think I clean up quite nicely today. 6 years ago, I never thought I would be an engineer, like there was no way I could be. Hey, you never know what the years hold for you. 6 years ago, I didn't think that this channel would be going strong. I didn't think I would have consistent members. I didn't think I would still be getting super chats and whatnot. But it's still happening, and the channel is growing. I am so close to 55.9K, which will then turn into 6K, which will then turn into 10K, and which will then turn into 50K, which will then turn into 100K, and even further than that. I never thought that I would be seeing this point around this point in time, but I'm grateful. And I'm happy about it. It's a wonderful day. It's wonderful. But now, since I said everything in chat, time to read the synopsis for this. Because you guys know that I love to read this. And then after that, we got Sakamoto Days and then an episode of One Piece. And then I'll be done for today. Because I want to get back to farming on Borderlands. Because that game has me in a vice grip and will not let go. So, let me get chapter 160 up in here. And then we'll read through the synopsis as we always do. Hopefully they got the full summary down in there. I'm wondering what I want to eat. I'm hungry. I am so hungry. Here we go, summary time. Yes, sir! You already know what's about to happen, Ozzy! It turns out there were several other members of the Davy clan residing on God Valley aside from Teach. And once they were presented to the world... So it wasn't Teach. It wasn't just Teach. There were more members of the Davy clan. They didn't just single out Teach. They took in every member of the Davy clan who happened to reside on God Valley. That makes it even worse. Garling found the remaining members of the Davy clan there. Not just Teach, but every other member. And posted them up as prizes. This was also a sick episode. This was a sick chapter. Not in a good way. This was a sick chapter because we saw the celestial dragons. Like one run up to a husband, wife, and a child and gun all three of them down. Literally a baby. And just went like pap, pap, pap for all three. Messed up. It turns out there were several other members of the Davy clan residing on God Valley aside from Teach. And once they were presented to the world nobles, they all started yelling hateful things about them, claiming that they are the most despised of all people and that they are connected to the Buccaneers. They all started to throw weapons at them only for the announcer to tell everyone to hold their fire or they'll get penalized. Saturn commended Garling for discovering the Davy clan on the island, which is why he recommended it as the staging ground for the tournament, but he merely called it an act of fate. Elsewhere, Shanks and Shamrock's mother told Dragon that she wants him to make sure her children are raised as kind-hearted people and not let Garling corrupt them. A little bit too late for one of them. As she dies, Dragon swears he'll find her children and save them and takes off. The event finally begins and all of the targets start running, hoping they can survive for 3 weeks and escape for their lives. Once the world nobles start their hunt, it is shown that no one, not even infants or children, were spared from their depravity. On top of that, the entire event was televised to Marie-Joie, where the other world nobles cheered on the rest of their ilk and making bets, with one of them mentioning Gunko as the pet devoted blade of God as she strikes down several people with her powers. Somers, meanwhile, chased a boy up into a tree and left his thorns beneath it for him to fall on. The boy's father sees him and tries to rescue him, only for both to be impaled on the thorns, to Somers' enjoyment. Dragon witnesses the dead bodies of the hunted people and gets sick, but he knows that if he defies the world nobles, then his entire platoon will be slaughtered in retaliation. However, he sees a world noble preparing to shoot Kuma while he was listening to Ivankov's speech, and when he saw that they still had hope, he ended up tranquilizing the noble, to his own personal worry. Just then, the Rock's pirates finally make landfall. Rox tells his crew that until they rescue Shaki and claim the devil fruits and other treasure, they should not infight until they divvy up the rewards evenly. Barbell points out that they can't split up Shaki because she's a person. So Shiki says she'll fall in love with whoever rescues her first. John says he'll fall for who gets the most treasure, but Linlin says that no matter how much chaos they cause, she'll not pay attention to them. Humorously, Newgate says he wants to rescue her as a friend, but wouldn't be opposed to her falling for him, to Buchan's annoyance, while Gloriosa ponders if Roger would be grateful to her if she rescued Shaki. Struzan mentions that Ochoku chose to stay on Hachinosu and wonders if Shaki will ban him from her bar for life for his cowardice, not knowing that it was because of him that she wound up here in the first place. And Kaido simply asks if Linlin will get him a good devil fruit, of which she does. As the Rock's pirates start rampaging, the world nobles start fleeing in terror as Garling laments that the game has ended early because of them. As the Roger pirates are announced to have arrived, Dragon manages to find the twins in the chaos and starts running off with them. Once the Roger pirates make landfall, Roger tells everyone that he's going to rescue Shaki and no one else will have a shot, so they should just take the treasure, only to be ignored and trampled. The Knights of God take the stage to protect the world nobles, while the Marines are ordered to pull back. Just then, Garp arrives on the scene and starts blasting away other pirates who heard the news, while the Marines cheer him on. So, chapter notes include, before the native hunting competition begins, members of the Davy family are presented to the world nobles. Dragon agrees to save Shanks and Shamrock at their mother's request. In the ensuing chaos, Dragon manages to run away with Shanks and Shamrock in his arms. The Bavet family is first mentioned. During the competition, Dragon tranquilizes a world noble who tried to shoot an unsuspecting Kuma. The Rocks pirates arrive at God Valley and split up to save Shaki and acquire the treasure. Struzan confirms that Ochoku stayed behind at Hachinosu. The Roger pirates make landfall as well. I said Rocks first. Now it's Roger. Though Roger wants to save Shakuyaku by himself, he is trampled by his own overeager crew. Garling mobilizes all the Knights of God to fight the pirates. More and more pirate crews arrive at the island, overwhelming the Marines. Garp arrives as well to save his troops, immediately attracting the attention of Roger and Rox. And then we have an author comment. That says, I'm addicted to these Odoroki peaches from Yamagata. Twisting them open in two and eating the whole thing, including the skin, is the best. Eiichiro Oda. So, that's what we have currently with the God Valley incident. The God Valley incident is starting, and now we're going on break. Because, can we be honest? Seeing all of these chapters drop, and us not get a break was crazy. Because a lot of these chapters that we got throughout this month could have been a break chapter, and we could have been fully on break multiple times. But now, as the God Valley incident starts, now we're going on break. And I feel like I'm happy. I'm happy because I've been looking forward to this moment for a while. I've been looking forward to the God Valley incident finally being shown in its entirety. Not events that transpired, not the outside view of God Valley, not it being shown as a flashback with very limited detail or very limited information like we got with Sengoku, even though it was a bunch of information in 957. I'm glad we are finally getting the God Valley incident in detail. Don't be surprised if we see certain images or certain moments that happened in other people's flashback actually happen here in this moment, such as the Rocks pirates rampaging throughout the island, and we see from Big Mom's perspective, finding Kuma and Ivankov and getting her hand on the fish fruit, while Kuma manages to get away with the paw fruit. Don't be surprised if we see that moment happen. But also, something that was teased was the Rocks pirates facing down Roger and Roger and Garp. That's eventually going to happen. So that's something to look forward to. But we're going on break. So we get to think about all this craziness that's happening in One Piece as we rest on this break. Go to cook. Essentially, that's Oda's been cooking. Also, I can't believe we didn't mention this much, but more Buccaneer lore, so they have some sort of ties with the Davy clan. Yeah, the Buccaneers and the Buccaneer clan and the Davy clan have some sort of ties to each other. We don't know what. Probably some Buccaneer gal married into the family and their kid automatically becomes most wanted kid in the world. Who knows? We don't know. There's just something about the lineages of these people and these different clans that we don't know about that just intrigues me so much. The Davy clan, the Buccaneers, the Lunarians. There's just so much that I want to know about all of these races and all of these people. I wonder how many devil fruits she was able to secure, because we know so far she secured the dragon fruit, but we don't know any more she possibly got yet, so that's exciting to find out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mochi Mochi no Mi and the devil fruits of Oven and Daifuku were also on the island as well. I would not be surprised. If nothing else, then maybe she got her hands on the Mochi Mochi no Mi as well. Imagine she was only able to get the dragon fruit. Makes sense why she would consider her giving it up to Kaido would result into a lifelong debt, but I doubt it's the only one she got. Read my thought on Teach. Where? Maybe this is another reason why Teach can't sleep. Not because he can't, but maybe because once he falls asleep, he has nightmares about the atrocities he saw at God Valley. That might be... Ooh. Because in this chapter, we see that Teach is absolutely terrified looking at these celestial dragons. They seem like monsters to him. And he's only 2. He's only 2. So these are essentially nightmarish creatures to him, waiting for his downfall, wishing for his death. So to avoid having nightmares of seeing these celestial dragons in his dreams, he doesn't sleep. That would be crazy if that was the case. But it will also explain why he never goes to sleep. Maybe Dragon will get a devil fruit too on God Valley. People want Dragon to have a devil fruit so bad. What are y'all gonna do if Oda decides that he doesn't get one? What are y'all gonna do? This almost, I want to say, and it's been well over 10 years. When was the chapter when Dragon showed up, a mighty wind blew through, and then it allowed him to get close to Smoker and save Luffy? Well over 10 years, right? What would happen? And I'm just saying this just in case. Just in case. Either or could happen. Dragon could have a devil fruit. He could not have a devil fruit. I'm in the middle where I am waiting for Oda to say so. I'm not going to make an assumption and say like, oh, he's got a devil fruit because the wind kicks up whenever he's around. What you want me to say? What you want me to say? But what's going to happen? What's going to happen if somehow it turns out Dragon has no devil fruit powers, and it's just fate that makes it so that the wind howls as much as it does whenever he shows up? Because remember, fate's a constant theme in this story. But what's going to happen to the theory that Dragon has a devil fruit? People are going to be upset that their theory that they've held on to for dear life, for all they've never known in their lives. What happens if it just happens to not be the case, and he just has weird coincidences that happen around him all the time? It could be either or. Dragon could have a devil fruit. He could have the wind fruit. Or he could have absolutely nothing at all. Or would it be more trauma than PTSD? What if he just has crazy hockey? Yeah, what if he just has crazy hockey? Because we've seen crazy displays of hockey be used to do all sorts of things, including, I mean, think about it. We've seen the hockey of a person being so strong that it literally obliterates an entire town with just a shockwave of a punch. We have seen a man nuke a town just by punching in a direction. It's not just wind automatically appears, a little typhoon went by and cleared out the fire back in Terminal Gray. This I am aware of because that's the first thing that popped into my head while I was saying that. So that's the reason why I'm still on the fence whether he actually has a devil fruit or it's just weird coincidences. It's just fated coincidences. We don't know, but it's what people have been holding on to for dear life. So we don't know. We don't know yet. And if he does happen to have a devil fruit, okay. Good for him. But we'll just have to see. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have finally entered into the most sought after unknown event in One Piece history, and that is the God Valley incident. This is the event that leads the Rocks pirates to their disbandment and the supposed and pretty much the death of Rocks. But it also leads to, or it could have been Ivankov's Hellwink. I mean, given the fact that Ivankov can blink hard enough to shoot out a major gust of wind that can launch not only himself, but also break through solid ground with the force of it, wouldn't it be crazy if it was Ivankov's wink that did that? But yes, this is where we are. We are in the events where we're going to find out the events that lead to the Rocks pirates being completely defeated and all of their members leaving, doing their own thing. Roger's era beginning after that point, and also Garp being known as the legendary hero of the Marines, whose name is just so influential that to this very day, if you mention Garp, all people can say is that he's a legendary hero of the Marines, and if he were to ever show up anywhere, then pirates know to run from him. Because he is seen as a demon in the eyes of pirates. All of these events, the events that would define the lives of several different people that would literally change the course of One Piece history, from Kuma's life, to Garp's life, to Shanks's life, Dragon's life. I believe this is the moment where Dragon started to see just how shady and just how bad the world government is and the Navy is and how compliant they are with the world government, that they'll let these atrocities happen. This is where it first started. But this is where his disillusion to them first started. Where it started to really plague in his mind. Should I follow them? If I follow their orders, people will die. But if I don't, then they'll kill my entire platoon. I imagine this is where the first crack of absolutely following orders from the world government started. That first crack started to happen after witnessing all the dead bodies of the people that the Celestial Dragons gunned down. That's when it started to, when the seed of rebellion starts right there. Dragon looks mid last chapter? What do you mean? Because if you're talking about the way Dragon looks in the last chapter, he is literally a young cadet. You expect him to have long flowing hair or him to look majestic? He is literally a young cadet. What do you expect? You expect him to look majestic every single time we see him? He's literally a cadet. This is literally the first time we see him as a cadet in this chapter. Yeah, he's just a cadet. He's new to this. He is hesitant to even wield his gun right now. Yeah, he's not even a cadet. He's just a sailor. He's just a sailor. He really doesn't want to do anything. He questioned everything. But you expect them to have long flowing hair? Any thoughts just sniping? What do you mean? He's doing his job, but he's hesitant to do it. I don't see how he's sniping because he ain't got a scope. I don't see where dragon looks mid comes from. This is just a young dragon. Dragon's last chapter kind of reminds me of Snake Man Luffy, at least facial features wise. Facial features wise. No hockey related. What are you talking about? What specifically are you talking about? Plus, he's just a cadet. He's not even an officer with tranquilizer darts since he doesn't like killing. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know where the whole dragon looks mid comes from. I need to know what you're trying to say. Man, next chapter is going to be crazy anyway until 2 weeks from now. All right, Ozzy, I know you got to head out. I got to end it myself as well because we still have Sakamoto Days to read through. We still got to do that. Hold on. There is a chapter today, right? Yes, there is a chapter today, but that's not going to break. I was expecting a Conqueror's Hockey moment for him. Why? Why would it happen right now of all times and we just got introduced to him? If anything, him using Conquerors would draw more attention to him, which would make him getting Shanks and Shamrock out trickier, because people would more than likely sense that. I feel like that would detract and be far more distracting. So this isn't exactly a moment where Conqueror's Hockey for Dragon needs to happen. Because there are far more important things to be concerned with. Yeah, there's far more important things to be concerned with. It doesn't need to happen right now. He's a cadet trying to deal with all this nonsense. This isn't a moment where Conqueror's Hockey needs to trigger for Dragon for it to be like, oh, he's had like an epic moment for Dragon, and that's the moment he realized that I can't serve the Marines anymore. No, it would be out of place. It would be out of place. This isn't an appropriate moment for Conqueror's Hockey to happen for Dragon at this time. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. Because it needs to focus on Dragon just a little bit more for that to be important. But in him just having how many pages dedicated to him? Like two panels? Not even two panels, just two sections of a panel that's focusing on somebody else. I just feel like it's not appropriate for that Conqueror's Hockey moment to happen. But yeah, good chapter. Good chapter. But we're going on break. And we're going to have to see what happens in the next one once we come out of break, because now comes the most important revelation for one of the most mysterious and most ill-known, like lesser-known events of One Piece in terms of Marines knowing about the specifics of it. I know I'm droning on, please forgive me, but the God Valley incident has started, and we're about to witness everything that's about to go down. And when we get to the end of Rocks, when we see the end of Rocks, that is when I feel like we'll get back to Harold. We'll find out what happens when he gets killed by his own men, and then the flashback will be done, and then we get to finally get back to the present, which means I honestly feel we probably won't see something like that happen until somewhere in October. Somewhere in October. That's how I feel. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly feel like somewhere in October, not the beginning of October, but somewhere in maybe mid-October, maybe even late October. Still want to see his powers? If you're leaning in the direction of Dragon has a devil fruit, still hasn't been confirmed, and we don't even know if that's even a thing for him. We don't know, even though people have been leaning on that theory for years. But it's either or. We'll just have to wait on Oda to give us this sort of information. He's got guts. That's a cool thing he's done. Yeah. Essentially, take these children off of this island where everyone's being gunned down. So yeah, good on Dragon. If it wasn't for Dragon, we would not have One Piece as we have it now. Not that many people would pull the trigger on a celestial dragon. That's the first act of rebellion. literally knocking out a celestial dragon to keep them from killing other people. Well, I'm okay with calling them its because they're not people, but keep them from killing other people. So it's good on him. Even if it's just tranquilizers, yeah, he essentially allowed Kuma to save those extra 500 people that we learned about in his flashback. But yeah, I'm droning on again. Sorry. I'm done because I've got to get started with Sakamoto Days, and then I got to get started with the newest episode of One Piece, and then I'm gonna relax and chill and farm on Borderlands. All I can say to everyone here, from Halster to Ozzy, everybody who showed up here today, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the constant support you show me during this to this channel. As the channel continues to grow, I am nothing but grateful for everything you guys do for me. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you, and because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples! I almost forgot to say, on to Sakamoto Days!